Okay. All right. And we are back. So thank you, everybody. Wonderful to see you all. And today, the topic that we have is, well, it talks about, I can't even remember the topic. It talks about the difference between flowing versus standing up for yourself versus giving in to others. And so it's so beautiful because, every once in a while, and it just happened in the last 1 week itself, that people came to ask me a few things related to this topic. And I said, I've covered it so many times, but just not in this particular topic. I talk about, what it is when you say that you've come into oneness, what does it even imply? What does it mean? But I said, chalo, we don't have enough topics nowadays. So this is as good a topic as any, as to what is it about flowing, which is different from, standing up for yourself, which is different from asserting yourself, and which is different from giving in to others. So I would like to start with one beautiful comment which came from Amlan yesterday. He says, is there any difference at all? And I laughed. I said, if you can't see the difference, it just only means that you're flowing. If you can't see the difference only, that whether there's a difference between asserting yourself or between, giving in to others or in flowing, if you can't see the difference, it only means that you are flowing. What is the difference in analytical terms or in the terms of how we describe it? I talk about things from two places of frequencies. One is this place of frequency, and the other is this place of frequency. When we flow, we are coming from the heart. That's it. When we come from the heart, there is no separation. There is that oneness. What does separation do? It'll make you look as one person and the other is another person, another entity. Now you've got to be careful. Are you hurting that person? Are you keeping their emotions in mind? Are you doing this? Are you making them uncomfortable? You have to look at everything as you and them. And that would be the frequencies of the mind. But when we come from oneness, then all of this, all of the energy that we are, that comes to play. And you find that, okay, there is nobody else around me, only me and my mirrors. So then who's got work? In whom, where do you have to spend all your time and effort? Where do you have to do all your work? Only within, only within. So when you can recognize that the work is only within, you will come from oneness. Somebody came and said, something happened to us last week. And as we were sitting over there, we were easily able to do whatever was asked of us. But after we were done, after we had done everything for somebody else, after I had done all the work, this thought came to my mind that, oh, I didn't assert myself. I should have put myself first and not done what was being asked for me to do. And so, what is it that I need to know from here? These are two different places of frequencies you are coming from. When you were in that moment, when somebody asked you to do something, you were in the heart frequency and everything simply flowed. It flowed. Oops. Okay. I can't be touching the table. So as everything flowed, you were able to do whatever and only receive joy from it. That was that moment. In that moment, whatever you did, you didn't think about what that person said, what did I say, what is going to happen, should I be doing this, should I not be doing this? It just flowed and you didn't give attention to it. That means you are sitting in the frequency of heart, not doing too much analysis, not doing too much thinking. And then, a few days later, maybe a few hours later, now you are thinking, oh, I didn't honor myself. I didn't honor what I should have done, what I felt like doing. I didn't honor. If the thought didn't come then, but the thought is coming now, it only simply means that in the now, you're sitting in the frequency of the mind. In the now, not in that moment, but right now, your frequency has shifted. You can see the separation between you and them. They asked me to do something. I didn't want to do it. I shouldn't have done it. I should have done the other, something or the other. A story is getting built. And now you are confused. But for me, as I see it, there are two different moments. One, the moment in which you sat and did something. And in the second moment, where you are sitting and analyzing what you did. Was it right? Was it wrong? Was it good? Was it bad? In the moment that you're analyzing, that's the place where you sit and judge. In that moment, so she said that the work was on, I felt like I didn't honor, and the work was on self love. So, what is it that you need to do? Okay, give yourself some, you don't have to go back to that moment to say how I should have done something like that differently. That moment has come and gone, but now it is being analyzed in your mind. So, what is it that you need to do now? In the now, self love. In the now, to understand that no matter what happens, whether you did that work or you didn't do that work, whether you played for somebody or you didn't play for somebody, no matter what you did, the self love is all about understanding that you are Shiva. No matter what you do, you still are the creator and the destroyer. What are you creating and destroying? Your own thoughts, your own energies. You are creating, you are transforming, you are destroying. What you are creating, what you are destroying can be a minute to minute thing. In one moment, we can create joy. In the one moment, we can kill that joy as well. As we kill the joy, we create sadness. And then we become aware and we say, okay, now let's kill the sadness and let's go back to joy. This transformation of energy happens all the time. Give me a minute. I'm going to take a break. Good that I went, otherwise the bell might have kept ringing. Okay, so we were talking about, where do you think that work remains? If you think that work remains, in that moment, work remains. And what is the work that we get to do? The only work we get to do is self love. Self love is not an act of going back into time and doing things or thinking about things, how you could have done it differently, how you could have done something. Those are actions. 1,000 times over, in 1,000 different ways, I keep talking about how actions are not important. If you are wishing to receive self love in a moment, in any moment, all you have to do is close your eyes and hug yourself and receive the self love from yourself. It doesn't take much. All you have to do is think that you are the creator, you are the Shiva. Whether you do something right or you do something wrong, those judgments apart, you constantly remain the creator, the destroyer, the source, the everything, the universe. You are that already. When you understand this, you are already honoring yourself. Honoring yourself doesn't happen through actions that, oh, now I got to go and speak to somebody and honor myself. They are walking all over me and I have to stand up for myself. I have to honor myself. This comes from the energy of lack of love for the self. You think somebody else can take away your honor through their action. The minute you think that, you have given that power of being able to take away your power. You've given them that power. That power rested in you, that power vested in you. You have given it away to them in that moment, saying, you can actually hurt me. I give you the right to show me my hurt. I give you the right to show me my sadness. I give you the right to show me that I am less. I am powerless. I am helpless. I am less. That is the power that you give to them. And so when you want to take it back, you've given it to them in the energies. When you want to take it back, it's got to be done in the energies itself. There is nothing about action which will complete the story. The body takes the action. The body is 1%. The body is not the creator. The body is the experiencer. And so, whatever you are experiencing, if you are experiencing powerlessness, helplessness, and you want to do it by going and, standing up for yourself, but the energy over here is lack of self honor, lack of self love. The energy with this energy, no matter where you go, sure, you might win that battle. You might win many battles, but if you're constantly creating lack of love for the self, then the entire universe will simply keep bringing that back to you. That's how the energies work. We've talked about it so many different times. And yet, to understand that there is nothing that you need to stand up for or you need to stand up against. It is all in your energy. So, should we not stand up for the right thing? Should we not do anything? Should we not follow the law? Should we not do this? Should we not do that? Again, as I said, we normally tend to focus on the action. The action done with this energy might bring you any results whatsoever. But we are not talking about a one time result. We are talking about the energy that you keep collecting within yourself with each and every victory, with each and every defeat. The same energy is being collected even if you win that battle. The energy is that people are not honored. People need to be honored. People are not respected. This is not respected. That is not respected. All that you have to do in this to gain some peace, to get peace of mind, peace of heart, is simply to honor yourself. To honor yourself as the Shiva that you are. Nothing else remains. The minute you recognize that you are Shiva, in the next minute, you will also recognize that each one is Shiva as well. I am Shiva, you are Shiva too. And the minute you recognize that, then which Shiva is powerless? The Shiva that is playing right now in the frequency of powerlessness wants to go through that experience, has chosen that experience of powerlessness. Yes, through you, it might even come into the experience of power. Through you, something might happen, but that experience too of this transformation has been chosen by that Shiva only. Every one of us has our own energy field, and at all times, yes, we get influenced by outside energy fields just because in the energy, well, the word I used was outside, but in the energy, it simply is. This is energy, and that is energy too. In this air around us are sprinkled so many different frequencies. There are frequencies that work for the microwave, there are frequencies that work for the television, but just by looking at it, we can't simply make out the difference. It's all in the air, it's all mingled in, it's all one big place or one big source, as we might call it. But it's not separated into bodies or something that is tangible as such. Only when we start to tune into the different frequencies, even frequencies I was just talking about in the morning, even frequencies, we can actually tune into 2 or 3 different frequencies at a time. We can probably tune into more, but it's a limitation of the body that it doesn't. It is a limitation of this experiencer that it only wants to experience 1 or 2 or a few more frequencies at a time. If there is a mix of too many frequencies, then we have medical terms for it. It's called bipolar, it's called schizophrenic, it's got all of these medical terms. But what is simply happening if we look in terms of energies? The only thing that's happening is that the body is not able to understand, it's not able to grasp, it's not able to experience fully any frequency. And so there are shifts, very, very rapid shifts. And then we give it some names. We call it personality disorders, etc., etc., etc. But when we think about everything in terms of energy, then we understand, okay, it's only that the body is limited in handling all of these different frequencies, but the game belongs always to energies and frequencies. Everything is energy. And so, therefore, everything is frequency as well. Everything is just simply in different frequencies. And we, as the experiencer, only choose to be, we can't be happy and sad together, in equal amounts. We might be a little bit sad, but then happiness will take over. Or we might not be, we might be completely sad, but we can't have three or more frequencies. Our body wouldn't know how to experience it together. That being the limited experience of the body. When we move over to the energy field and we talk about, again, from the outside, we have to do something. We have to do something, otherwise people will walk all over us. Why is it that I always keep giving in to somebody else's demands? I have, people walking all over me. I must stand up. I must show who I am. Not through action. You cannot show anybody who you are through the action. The action comes from a very, very limited space, this space of separation. The minute you sit in separation, then there is always going to be you and the other. In that other space, in the space where it is, I'm this side and the other stands at the, stands as the enemy, we are immediately dishonoring our own selves. There exists nobody else. So we dishonor our part that is actually a reflection that we are seeing. I constantly talk about this too, that everyone that we see is an actor for us. The role that they are playing in our lives, what is that role bringing to us? That's where our focus needs to be. We come back to the one question, the one favorite question that I ask at all times. We all know it. When something is happening outside, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? No, that person is not honoring. Yes, that person is not honoring you. I need to fight for myself. What are you feeling? You are feeling hurt, you're feeling sad, you're feeling angry, you're feeling rejected. Then these are the feelings, these are the emotions that are sitting in your energy field. It's not about them. They might be saying the harshest of things. In the morning session, somebody asked me, so you think we should just say anything that comes to our mind? We shouldn't value a relationship? Well, here it is. When you think about valuing a relationship, all that you are doing is zipping your face. You're just keeping quiet over here. As you keep quiet over here, is your energy not being transmitted to them? Of course it is. They are receiving everything in the energy. If you have rage, if you have anger, if you have sadness, if you have anything, they are receiving all of it. And what will they do? You think you are keeping quiet and saving the situation. But what are they bound to do? Well, they are your reflections. So if you are feeling hurt, sad, angry, rejected, all of that, they will keep showing you more hurt, sadness, anger, rejection, etc., etc. That's all. They have no lines of their own. You, the producer, the director of this movie, has given them the lines. They have to only speak the lines that are being handed over to them by your energy. And when you start to look at everything as just this, a drama, a play that is playing out, but the lines are being written by you. The edition, the script can only be edited by you by looking within. And when you do that, there is no outside who's walking all over you. You simply have to look at the places where you feel you haven't honored yourself, the places where you have lied to yourself, the places where, when you sat down to think, all the places where you should have done differently. Those are your judgments against yourself. The job is not to go and outwardly correct those judgments. The job is to release those judgments. In the moment, if the flow is happening, the frequencies are here. but we play from frequency to frequency every minute. So yeah, maybe the next moment you are sitting in the frequency of separation. Maybe in that moment you weren't, but now you are. Okay, yeah, now you are sitting in separation, and now you start to move. Okay, how should I have done it differently? What should I do to be more forceful? What should I do to fight people more? I shouldn't be giving in to everybody's demands. Well, what should I do is not the answer. What should you be thinking from? From this frequency, you should be. I use the word should be only because I'm suggesting how to come to oneness. But otherwise, all of you know there is nothing called I should do and I shouldn't do. Both of these places will simply create experiences. We are all creating experiences every single minute. We are sitting in joy, outside something happens, we sit in sadness. Even as we become aware, now things can be different. Now, as we sit, okay, and now Naval Ahuja, okay, Naval Ahuja has gone to mute again. Okay. Um, where was I? What was I saying?
What I should do or not do, both of these places simply create experiences.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Wow, I go out just like that only. Okay, thank you. Yes. So everything is just simply going to, make you experience something. One, if you keep sitting in the frequencies of the mind, you experience separation. When you come to awareness, now the choice is there from the mind, from the heart. These are simply choices. We like one only because it brings us peace of mind. For some reason, our body appreciates peace rather than chaos. So if you wish to sit in peace, then simply moving your attention from here to here, doing this part, coming into oneness, and then putting all your focus on yourself, giving love only to yourself, and that will shift. That will shift your experience. As you give love to yourself, the lines that you have given to the outside universe, they begin to change. The lines that come out of their mouth will be different. You will be sitting in a different experience. But the choice only exists when you are aware of this one question: what am I feeling? I go on and on and on about this one question, but so many times people who've been doing this for so long, they've been doing it for years now, and yet they come to me and say, oh, this happened and that happened, but now what should I do? I'm stuck. Every time you feel stuck, every time you feel stuck in any situation, it's only because your attention has gone outward and you think that a situation outside needs to change. In that outside situation, that something needs to change, where you're not feeling happy about something, you haven't paid attention to that one question: what am I feeling? That situation has only come to show you. That's only come to show you what is up for release right now. It's beautiful because the layers get very, very subtle. You worked on yourself and you worked on yourself, and now you barely can catch something and say, I worked so much on myself. Why is this still happening to me? It's still happening and it'll always keep happening. We are energy. Even as we release something, we are not going to be completely tuning out of something. I was talking about it the last time, I think, about how our joy, our happiness is experienced more deeply after we get a taste of sorrow. So the sorrow is actually part of the experience so that we can really, really enjoy the joy, the dance, the laughter even more. When we are going through peace, just peace and peace, we stop recognizing how beautiful that peace is. But for a few moments, that peace is taken away. And then we recognize, oh my God, why is this happening? What is happening? It's only happening to show you how beautiful peace is. So appreciate unpeace as well, as it happens, it's not just showing you what remains, it is pointing you towards what remains. But now that you are aware, this experience of yours, this experience of unpeace, of sadness, of anger, it's not going to last. You are now stationed. You are now stationed. And anybody who's taking in the Meenal energies frequently, and I keep talking about how much I work on myself. And when you receive these energies every single day, they're not what you received last year. Energy is constantly moving, and so energy is constantly transforming as well. The more awareness there is, the more energy transformation happens easier and easier. As you take energies from Meenal, you are receiving these more and more peaceful energies for your use today. Every day, the energies are different, but my energy holds way more abundance today than it has ever held before. Why? Because through my conscious awareness, I'm constantly working to receive more joy, more joy. What do I have to do to receive more joy? Oh, simply keep releasing all that is not joy. So I do this all the time. You receive it. And guess what? As you are in the energies of Meenal, whatever you are working on, I'm receiving as well. There is no separation between you and me when it comes to energies. So, the more we are working on these beautiful energies of abundance, the more abundance there is in our lives. Moving forward from there, the work constantly being within, layers will come out. Layers and layers you've already been working on, but anytime you feel stuck, the only thing you need to do is go calm, go inside, and one question: what am I feeling? That question will take you to whatever you have maybe just picked up. You might have just picked up that energy, and as soon as you are done with the experience, it's time to let go of the experience again. So what? Sometimes, people come to me and say, I have been aware for a long time, but I think I slipped. That's okay. Don't judge yourself as you slip. It's okay to slip. After all, it's just two different sets of experiences. This experience from here and this experience from here. You slipped, which means you're actually making more decisions from here. And then you are seeing the universe shifting the energy accordingly. As you do that, how much time does it take for you to come back into awareness? Just that one moment. Just that one moment that you decide, okay, I'm back in awareness, then you are. The moment you say, I am the Shiva, in that moment you are. It doesn't take time. So if you're fighting battles outside, that, okay, this is a long battle. I'm fighting in a court to get this back, to get that back. What should you do? Should you stop fighting your court cases? I constantly come to the word flow. Flow with everything that is as is. If you're fighting, keep fighting. It doesn't matter. But as you fight something, you know what you have to do. You have to change the energy with it. All of this while you have fought that battle with another energy, with energies of fear, with energies of lack, different energies all belonging here. Now you can continue to do the same thing. Actions don't matter. The actions are not where the story is getting created. What matters is where you are coming from, which energy you are coming from. And so I constantly keep inviting you, no matter what you do, no matter what you are doing, where it's going, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's wrong, whether it's right, simply keep taking a look at your energy. Where is the energy coming from? If nothing else looks good, well, you can always tune in to my energy of abundance, which is mine as much as it is yours. And so moving forward in this, one of the things that I covered, because again, somebody came to me and said, oh, if you say oneness, if you say honoring, then we have to honor everybody. I don't understand, when should it ever be my wish? Because each time somebody says something, somebody wants something from me, all that I do is I come into oneness. I come into oneness. Okay, what if they do it and what if I do it? It's all the same. And then I do it. And I say, yes, okay, in that moment you did it. You brought yourself to oneness and you did it. But the very fact that in this moment, again, a few days passed, a few months passed, it's still occupying mind space. It only means that the oneness didn't really take. The oneness didn't stick. The oneness was not meant to be in that moment. Don't judge yourself for being two. We are in the body. We are constantly going to judge. We are in a role. We are constantly going to play those roles. As you sit in a role, let us say you're in the role of a mother. You want to do a few things, but suddenly now you're like, okay, I'm in the role of a mother, and so is my neighbor, and so is the other neighbor. Should I be mother to everybody? Well, they are the mothers, I'm the mothers, I am one with them. Okay, fine. Let me be mother to 1,000 people. And then you have to start cooking for 1,000 people and complain, complain, complain. No, I did all of this in oneness, but now I have so much work on me. Oneness doesn't mean getting stuck into roles. Roles and the journeys. I constantly, today the word is constant. Okay, fine. I think I've been talking about the same topics for so long. I find nothing new. Hopefully you're finding something new. But as we are getting into the roles, somebody is a CEO and somebody is a janitor. Somebody is a clerk and somebody is, a senior vice president. Each of them have different roles. The roles are played at the physical level. I don't care what those roles are. The journey for all of us is exactly the same, to move from unawareness to awareness, to recognize who we are. We are Shiva. In that moment of recognition, if you have that moment today, you are fully aware. That's the only journey, and the journey is every moment. In all of this, you will play so many different roles. If you are empathizing with the role of somebody else, oh, that poor person has to do so many things, maybe I should help them out. The job is simply not to help them out, but firstly, even before you move a finger, firstly to come within and see what is it that you are resonating at. You are resonating at their powerlessness, their helplessness. You might even help them. You might do all the work for them. And what is it that you will help them feel? You will help them feel more helplessness. You will help them feel more powerlessness. Why? Because both of you are sitting in the same kind of frequencies and doing each other's work. To be powerful first and then to help somebody, you will bring them automatically through your energy into the power. And at that point in time, you might not even want to help them. You might not want to raise a finger. You might even say, no, I don't wish to help you. But if you've shifted your energy, brought yourself to powerfulness, then automatically that's the energy that you are transmitting at. That's the energy that they will be receiving from you. And energy, always, always, energy is the prime doer, not your body. Through the body, we can do so many things. And we keep doing something for someone. And, this is, I'm doing this for you, I'm doing that for you. And we are making so many different sacrifices. And then what happens? Suddenly, that relationship just goes kaput, right in your face. And now you're suddenly thinking about and saying, but I did so much for the other. There is no other. You forgot that that person is simply a reflection of you. And all you have to do is to be in love with yourself. What you do for yourself, if you love yourself, should you be going for daily massages? It's not about the action. It's all about, do you recognize where the place of creation is? Do you recognize you are the Shiva? Do you recognize that this is your power? This is your power of love for yourself that is changing your universe. Your power of love for yourself changes it. Your power of hate for yourself also changes your universe. And now there's a choice. You would like to hate yourself some more, or you would like to love yourself some more. They're both two different experiences. One comes from here, and the other will take you here. The other will bring you to peace. So obviously, talking about, so when I talked about roles in the morning, it must have been in so many people's minds that we don't know how to bifurcate the roles from the journey. The journey is not about doing something. The journey is not even picking up a pen to write something. The journey is simply, firstly, observing what's happening around with that one question. What am I feeling? As something is happening around me, what am I feeling? As my colleague comes and gives me all his work and says, can you help me? I can't do any of this. What am I feeling? Am I feeling resentful? They don't do anything and I have to do everybody's work. Okay, then resentment is the energy that you have to release. There is no colleague. You will find that as soon as you've released your resentment about all of this work that you have to do, this extra work that you have to do at the office, you might even find that an extra work completely stops coming to you. The extra work stops coming to you because that story is not needed anymore. The story is created so that you can be shown what you hold in your energies. But when you are unaware, you don't look within. You simply look outside and say, what is this? All the extra work in the office, only I keep getting to do. Where is everybody else? Everybody else so inefficient, so this, so that. The energy of resentment grows some more. So the next time somebody gives you extra piece of work, look at it. Look at yourself within and see, are you growing resentment? Because that would be one kind of experience. Or at the same moment, you have this other choice to release that resentment and to grow the joy. Are you growing that joy? If you are, if you're choosing to grow the joy, then whether you do that work or you don't do that work, it's inconsequential. You can go ahead and do something, it doesn't matter. After you are done with it, again, the thought comes, I shouldn't have done it. Well, again, you've gone and sat in the frequencies of the mind. As many times as you sit and analyze, the analysis comes from here. The analysis comes from separation. If you did something and forgot about it, that's it. It was done. That moment is gone. What is there to think about it? If you're not thinking about it, if that event is no longer occupying your mind space, then even right now, you're simply coming from the heart. So the two different kinds of frequencies, one of separation and one of oneness. And the work is constantly, constantly, constantly within. So keep simply doing all the work within. And that's how the journey goes. In a day, 28 different times, to me, separation is shown and then oneness is shown. And whatever I choose to do, I still choose to look at, okay, I'm seeing this separation. Somebody asked me, I'm staying at your house. I want to throw a party at your house. And I said, no, you can't. And they said, how can you refuse? Aren't you in oneness? I said, yeah, I'm in oneness when I refuse. I'm in oneness when I say yes. I'm in oneness when I refuse. I have a role to manage this house. This is my space and I will manage it as how I deem, how I deem to be enjoyable to me. After all, I am Shiva of my own joy. So I'm going to first bring joy to me. Aren't you thinking about the other? They are getting hurt. There exists no other when I act that way. So again, somebody asked me, these are all the morning conversations, and I'm simply just repeating it again. Somebody asked me in the morning that when you are doing something that's only for yourself and you are not thinking about what the other person is doing, you are not worried about how they will take it over, that their needs should be looked after. And I said, no, in that moment, if I've looked at something that I enjoy, I sit in that oneness and I can do whatever I feel like doing. If I'm going to spend time analyzing whether I did right or I did wrong, now there is separation. Now there is actually separation in the next moment itself. And so my job is not to say, okay, you can do whatever you wanted to do. No, as a matter of fact, my job is simply to release the separation if I feel it. If I feel sorry for somebody, my job is not really, to go and help them while I'm feeling sorry. If I'm feeling sorry and they are feeling sorry, two people sharing that same frequency. As I have understood it, I need to be in joy to be able to bring somebody into joy. I need to be in a lot of anand, in a lot of bliss, so that everybody can be pulled into these frequencies at all times. So the constant job is within. I'm trying to think if there was something from the morning session, because the morning session happened to be something where a lot of these questions got answered, even when there is separation in terms of how we behave at the office, how we behave at home. So many relationships where we keep our mouth sealed, thinking that if we keep the mouth sealed, then it's going to lead to more joy. But as we are keeping ourselves quiet, this is not quiet. We are operating from here, and this is going at 100 miles an hour speed. It's thinking of all the places where things have gone wrong with us, where people have wronged us. The more we think from here, the more separation is being created, the more experiences will experience, the more your experiences will be from separation. So many times when my relationships are almost, collapsing, and it's happened to me. You might think that, yeah, all relationships are about flow, but they are not. If all of my relationships are about flow, who will show me what remains for me to be done? Only those people who can show me attachment remains, who can show me rejection remains. Only those people who have the ability, who've been given that role to hurt me. Because when I get hurt, only then can I catch that I have gotten attached somewhere. So it's very, it's very beautiful that people sometimes have this, the ones who are closest to you hurt you the most. Yeah, you gave them that role. You gave them that role to hurt you so that your journey within could begin. So when I see outside a relationship of mine going completely ballistic, I might take a few seconds to come within, but I come within. And when I come within with that one question, what am I feeling? I'm feeling hurt. As soon as I understand the word hurt, I know it. Some attachment got created. My love to myself is no longer unconditional. My love to them is not unconditional, but they don't exist. It's always about me. So my love to myself has gone conditional, and I need to make it a little bit more unconditional. That fellow is not showing me how bad I am to them or how bad they are to me. They are simply showing me where I need to love myself more, at all the places where I need to be aware of my own Shiva. As I do that, as I only give love to myself, I have seen so many of my relationships come right back on track. So many of them. And I always laugh because I say, wow, truly, outside, nothing exists, no one exists. You give love to yourself. It's not about honoring only yourself. Because as you are doing that from the heart, truly from the heart, automatically that same love will flow outside as well. It is automatic because they don't exist. It's you and your reflection. So you don't even have to work on them. You don't have to go and tell them anything. You don't have, I don't say, I don't apologize. And when people say, okay, I ask for forgiveness in my energy work, and I say, there is nothing to apologize for. These are frequencies. You sit in one frequency, you experience that from outside. You sit in another frequency, you experience that from outside. Where is the apology needed from anyone, to me or from me? Do you always apologize? Okay, I'm watching a television station and now I change to another television channel. Do you apologize to yourself that, okay, like, I'm really sorry, I was watching all of this, but now I'm going to watch another channel? Because there is only you and you are constantly switching channels. Where is the forgiveness even needed? It's you and different energy frequencies at play. So simply understanding that frequencies will keep playing, they don't stop. Our life doesn't stop. But the awareness simply means that instead of experiencing the same experience of what we don't like, now we have the choice and we can give some self love to ourselves and shift that frequency. The answers for, I think, for the last 4 or 5 webinars, the theme has only become self love. Even today, the theme is about self love, but don't get confused. Standing up for yourself is not about self love, it's all about looking outside and lacking that love for the self. They are not giving me love. There is no they in the picture. You are not giving yourself love. So simply sit and give yourself love. Should you fight what's happening outside? Once you've given love to yourself, once you've come to equanimity, do what you feel like. It doesn't matter. The outcomes will shift from your energy, not from how much you are fighting outside. And even this outcome, you might even lose on this one particular outcome, but it doesn't matter. Why doesn't it matter? I always come back to that place because if I lost, the universe is playing in my favor. If I won, the universe is playing in my favor. I can see this tiny part of the entire equation. The universe knows a lot more. And so, if it is creating something for me, it's a loss today, but I understand that it is playing indeed in my favor. Okay, I'm done with my my long talk. Anybody has any questions for me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, who's this?
Kanika.
Okay, Kanika.
So you gave an example of your role in managing the house in terms of somebody wanting to come at a party where you say no, and if the other person cannot hear your no. So this was the scenario that kept playing in my life where people wouldn't hear my no, and I kept working on that.
Okay.
And that amount of self-love happened, and then there was this beautiful experience that happened in Mehrabad this time where a dog wouldn't listen to me. So yeah, so the owner of the dog shooed the dog away, and it went away and did not go back to her, but it would want to come and sit next to me, like, butting into me and all. And I was just testing myself, like, that subtle layer. So I was okay with it putting its head on my lap, and yet I was pushing it away, wanting, the choice was that I wanted it to go away, but it did not happen. For
Okay.
30 minutes, I kept looking within. What is it? There was a
Oh,
judgment that I figured out, a belief which I worked on, and yet it did not happen. So I was like, yes, they can sense some energy in me which I'm not able to get to that. So I want to know, what is that point? I still can't figure it out in me.
so did it trigger you when the dog wouldn't listen to you? Did it trigger you in that moment? It was triggering you apparently, or not.
So I was okay with it sitting next to me. I was feeling love for the dog, but I was just trying to know, what is it in me that is, that the dog cannot hear my no. Like,
How are you? So your body is saying no, and the dog is sensing your energy, or what is it? So I'm sorry. You're saying you said no to the dog in the body, right?
yeah.
But the dog is sensing your energy of love and wants to sit next to you. Did that trigger you that your dog? So again, okay, so beautifully, because I covered it in the morning and I didn't cover it right now. And it's about the words, right? So when you use the words, it's so beautiful. So let me tell you this, Kanika. For example, Sudhanshu doesn't like dogs at all. Okay. And the dogs, when they come into the house, and they'll, even if they go and meet with him once, but because in the energies itself he doesn't like them, they actually don't, they don't mix with him. They understand that. So in the energies where there is dislike, and he hasn't worked on those energies, and that's his journey. But because in the energies there is dislike, the dogs can sense it. Okay, and so they won't come next to him. But here it is, you're saying, I shooed him away in the words, right? And the dog wants some loving from you. But did that dog's want trigger you? The question is not about what the dog wanted. The question is, as the scenario was playing out, you found some things that you were working on, and then you worked and released on those things. The dog didn't go away. Did the dog's not going away trigger you?
It didn't. And then, I even asked the owner of the dog that, she felt the same love for the dog, and yet it listened to her. It's not that she doesn't like the dog.
Yeah,
Yet,
that's what,
that no was
so,
enough.
okay, so hang on. So did the dogs listening to her own owner or his own owner, did that trigger you?
I wasn't getting triggered. I just was like, trying to see what is it in me that he's not able to, hear my no. I
So,
was absolutely okay with it sitting next to me petting it.
so I have to say, so much of mind in I have to see, okay, like, so there is a trigger over there. There is a trigger somewhere right there, that when people are not listening to me, it's just, there's a trigger there, and that is okay. So it is about self-love or something, but your question for self-love itself, is my self-love enough? Is my self-love not enough? Self-love is all about the moment. So the answer that I receive right now, that you give yourself enough self-love, and then you question itself whether it is enough or not. In that
Yeah,
moment,
yeah.
that's it. In that moment, you've done it, and it's enough. It's enough. Everything is enough if you've done it in the moment. When it comes up again, in another scenario, or even the same scenario will come up another time, and you will get, like, you will spend some time, oh, I should have done this differently, or maybe this. So what is it that I'm not catching, that I'm not able to? There is something about my self-love which is not enough. Well, it's only your doubt. There's nothing else to it.
Okay.
It's only your doubt. When I say the self-love is not about an expression, the self-love is just simply knowing that I am Shiva. It's about that. It's unconditional. Whether I did something right or I did something wrong, whether I was nice to myself or not nice to myself, through all of it, I am Shiva. So the next time, I have a very simple solution for you. The next time that you feel what more remains, okay, this is all that you got to do. That's it. A hug from you to you. That's all that remains, because there's nothing which really remains. It's complete in the moment that you recognize you are Shiva. But you are doubting. Something must be remaining, that the dog is not listening. I've got the answer for why the dog is not listening. The dog is completely receiving the energies of love from you, doesn't want to shift. Doesn't want to shift. But you are taking that not as not as a proclamation of love from the dog, but as something remains in me, that they are not listening to my no. And that is only a tiny iota. This is damn difficult to catch, but you're at the last layers now. But this is tiny iota of doubt on your own self. So you are Shiva. In that moment of doubt also, you are Shiva. You are the doubtful Shiva. So just simply hug yourself, and you are in that space of love for yourself. And the dog still might not leave. So when it comes to humans, and there, you want something to happen, okay, in that moment. So I tell people, like, when people say, oh, let me think about it, let me be nicer to the other person. As you say something about, okay, they are also Shiva, I'm also Shiva. Let me do what they want. There is still some kind of analysis that's going on here. A tiny bit, but there's analysis. Let me do what they want. I am Shiva, they are Shiva. And I say, let it flow. the flow, whatever answer comes to you first, well, give it out. People, it's just so cute because we've always been taught that don't blurt out the first answer, right? Think about your answers, come from here, think about others, think about what they are going to feel, and all of these are like everything that you say, your words, once they leave your mouth, they cannot be taken back, and all of that stuff, right? But when we talk about energies are constantly being exchanged. They can be taken back, thrown around, brought back, sent to somebody. We are constantly playing in energies. Words have so little value unless we give them that value. And so I say, I take away the value from words and I simply put it in the energies itself. So if I say, whatever comes out, if the first answer comes out is no, I don't want to do this, I look at the answer, I quickly look within. When I said no, what am I feeling? If I'm feeling completely in joy, that no is perfect. If I said yes, now I'm feeling guilty, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, okay, then work has not come to change the yes to no. The work has come to release all that I'm feeling. The work is within, but if I'm in joy and the answers keep coming in the morning session, again somebody says my constant answers are no. I said, okay, if your constant answers are no, keep looking till the time they keep creating joy for you. But because we are always such a beautiful mix of energies, be aware the same thing that's created joy for you 10 times, suddenly the 12th time, it might not create joy for you. And when it doesn't, then look within, and then comes work on you to accept the yeses and the no's. And that's the work within. Okay, so what if I say yes? So what if I say no? Bring yourself to equanimity. Do you have to change your answer right there and then? No. Again, go with the flow. The going with the flow part is not to be thinking from here, but to be thinking from oneness. Thinking from here that there is only me, the work is only within. There is only one person to be kept happy. It doesn't matter what scenario you are sitting in. At work scenario, at office scenario, at home scenario, family scenario, it doesn't matter. Your emotions are the place where all of the creation is happening. So if your emotions are that of joy, but you're able to say no in that joy, that answer is perfectly okay. The words don't carry weightage. But at that time, you might even see that your no is considered a no joyfully. It is going to be considered a joy. Okay, she said no, and it's not going to be held. She said no, she didn't do what we wanted to do. Anyways, okay. Any more questions? Kanika, are you sorted with this little bit?
Yes, me, absolutely.
So cute. Yeah. So again,
Thank you.
these layers are so beautifully subtle, some of them. And as I'm coming more and more to this, because as I'm on my journey and I've started to hit the bottom of that energy pot that I talk about, the layers have gotten subtle, and now literally the last layers are coming off, is what I find for myself, that the last layers are coming off in this last 1 month. I'm able to actually see the crux, the source from where these energies kind of begin, the kind of programs and systems and beliefs that we hold, and what we came to experience on earth itself. So as I'm coming down to these, I find that the final answer is just about self-love. That is the final answer. So anytime, again, if you are getting confused, am I loving myself enough? Then in that moment, you're not. So, because the minute you're sitting in the frequency of doubt, oh, did I do it from self-love, or is work there on self-love? Then in that moment, as you question your self-love itself, the frequency is of doubt. It's not of love, it's of doubt. We shift frequencies like that. You have to just learn to catch them, that moment. So the frequency of doubt about self-love is just frequency of doubt. Okay, everybody. Anybody has any more questions, comments, anything to ask? or we move to the little meditation. All right, a deep breath in and close your eyes. Oh, and even before you close your eyes, I'm going to ask you to actually pinch. When I ask you to pinch your thumb and finger together, you will just do this. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, so just when I say make the mudra of your finger and thumb coming together, you will just simply pinch these two together. This happened in the morning meditation, so I know that's coming up. Okay. So one deep breath in and relax. And the word that comes to mind, masti. Masti, masti, masti. As you sit in an English webinar and wonder what masti means, well, bliss, joy, anand, wonderment, amazement. That's all. Joy and bliss. So that's what masti is. And so next breath in, and the only word, masti, masti, masti. Let it resonate all around you with the next breath in, masti. Masti, masti, masti. Flow, flow, flow. Oh yes, how can we forget? Masti, flow. That's all there is to it. Okay. And now, as your eyes are closed, simply taking yourself back to the time when you experienced most masti, when you were in the flow. You could have been 3 years old, you could have been 4, you could have been even younger than that. But that's the place you go back to now. In this beautiful time and space where you sit right now, feeling most joyous, flowing, simply flowing. All is joy. There is nothing that you carry with you. Things happen and you flow in joy. At all times, only joy, even though you have actors around you. But your focus is only on joy. And you are in that time, that space right now. Find that space in your life, even if it was for a few moments, if it was for a few years, but you experienced that joy, that bliss. In this now, just simply go back there. And as you go back to that place of joy, now, in this now, bring yourself back here to this place with the same joy. And as you do that, in one moment, you're a small little child, and in the other moment, you are sitting in the now. In this moment, I want you to pinch your thumb and your finger together. Establish this joy in yourself in the now. Move one moment to that small child. Move one moment to the now. One moment here, one moment here. And in both of these, you are anchored to your joy, simply being in the joy. Anchor yourself through this, a pinch of the finger and the thumb. And now, sitting in pure bliss, in masti, in ananda, in the now. Take your attention to the heart. and fill all of this masti into the heart and watch it expand. And so with one hand, you have the mudra, and the other, you can even put your hand on the heart, simply to experience the expansion of your heart with the joy and the bliss that you have captured in this moment. Breathe deeply a few times as you capture all of this masti, masti, masti. You, the small child, giggling, laughing, feeling so wonderful, sitting in amazement. Wow, what a beautiful world. That is the moment that we are capturing in the now. And as your heart expands with this joy, with this wonderment, now reaching out to your mind. In this moment, reaching out to your mind and telling the mind, I have the control now. Come, join me. Inviting the mind to come join the heart. The decisions moving from the mind, from the frequencies of the mind, the decisions moving to the frequencies of the heart. The frequencies of the heart, which are all about surrender and love and faith and joy. Unconditional love for the self, releasing of all judgments. These are the frequencies of the heart. And in this now, the decision making is moving from the mind to the heart. And you invite the heart to join the mind with it. The mind and the heart no longer separate, both operating from the frequencies of the heart. The first thought coming from oneness, becoming that aware of the oneness, becoming that aware of self-love, inviting the mind to join these frequencies of self-love, inviting the mind to release all judgments that you take about yourself. And the mind joins you happily, joyously. The mind is happy to let go of its frequencies and move towards the frequencies of the heart. And now, reaching out to all the cells in your body with this one intent. These beautiful cells that carry so much intelligence within them. Inviting them to join the frequencies of the heart. Look at your whole body. If you feel there is heaviness in any part of the body, if you feel there is darkness, heaviness, something that's stuck in any part of your body, in this now, simply send a lot of love from the frequencies of the heart. Invite that body part to release the fears and to join in these frequencies of love. What will happen to my body parts? Will this go worse? Will this ever get better? Simply releasing all of these questions with, if this, so what? If not, so what? Releasing all of the questions, all of the fears, all of the lack, this body part not working, that part not functioning, just simply letting go right now, inviting all of your body parts to now be in the frequencies of the heart. All that needs to happen is happening. Everything in perfection. And now you can let go of the finger and the thumb. Simply knowing that any point in time, if you wish to come to oneness, all that you need to do is to pinch your finger and thumb together. And you will come to this part, this moment, this now. You will be able to experience oneness with yourself. Sit in these beautiful frequencies of the heart. Your mind might take a dive here and there every now and then. But know that now you play from these frequencies of the heart. You allow the mind to go here and there, knowing that all of the final words end at you, come to you, and you know what to do. Om. Okay, everyone, lots and lots and lots of love. See you guys.
Bye.
Have fun, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
You too.
Bye, everyone. Lots of
Thank
love.
you,
Bye,
Meenal.
Meenal.